guess the biggest news this week was the firing of Mike Malone,
That's
coach
crazy.
of the Denver Nuggets, and the general manager, Calvin Booth.
That's the second week in a row.
That's crazy.
Second week in a row.
Second week in a row, what?
That a coach got fired right before the end of the season.
I was shocked.
Winning coach.
And they're top,
winning coach.
Top four in the
What
West.
are we doing?
I don't know what's going
And
on.
what's the message saying that when you fire your GM and head coach, who you not won with?
Like, you can't even focus on winning a championship now. Now you wasting one of the best big men of this generation's prime.
And a year. This
And
year,
another year.
He's had a great year, bro.
I swear, if I'm Joker, I'm out of there.
You out?
I'm out of there.
They gave away.
It's too dysfunctional.
And
That's why I was shocked.
What's more surprising about the Nuggets firing is because this man got chipped. This man
he
has
did
coached
what nobody else could do.
Jokic to be the best player in the league. You could make a point argument that Jokic is the best player in the league, and to get fired.
Well, they said reports was saying that even though they was winning, that it was a lot of turmoil going behind the scenes. Like, number one, people wasn't cool with how Russell Westbrook was being treated, especially when they lost the game to Golden State when he had that 60-point triple-double when he didn't make that layup to win the game. So they were saying anytime a coach get fired like that, even though they winning, 9 times out of 10, the locker, he lost the locker.
It was a brutally honest message, and the guys that are full won't hear it. You know, they'll say coach is tripping. And the guys that maybe do really care will, because they're not going to go back and watch their minutes, because nobody watches their minutes, nobody watches film. So we'll have to show them the film.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole locker room.
He lost the whole locker room because they were saying players was grumbling about how Westbrook was being treated. So now, don't be surprised between now and look, check it. You ain't hardly see it. The new coach that started, you ain't hardly see Westbrook play. They had most of the young guys, some of them I ain't even never heard of, that was playing. So don't be surprised when the playoffs start, you see less and less of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
And they fired the general manager.
Yeah, Calvin Booth caught it. I don't really understand why. Because of Russell Westbrook?
If this is about,
Well, he only did that because, I didn't mean to cut you off. If he did that because he was facilitating for the coach.
Yeah.
How bad is it for them to fire you right before the playoffs?
They have 3 regular season games.
And you're probably, if not, you're in the favorites to win it. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I put a lot of stock into Denver. There's a lot of turmoil in that situation and what I thought Denver was going into. Are you going to be able to keep all that stuff out your locker room now? Because it's all on y'all now.
Well, the thing is, what's going on, what really people not understanding is teams can't they have like a hard structured luxury tax right now. So just like what Phoenix going through right now, the problem is when you have high-end players and you're not winning, that's not good. So when Golden State was winning their titles, you feel what I'm saying? Their owners didn't have no problem paying a luxury tax on it because they were winning chips. So when you got teams that's not winning chips and they're not even making the playoffs, you losing hella money. You feel what I'm saying?
Phoenix problem. Denver problem is
Denver's the same thing because
Denver winning though.
No. Let me tell you the difference though. See, they're in these other 2 teams I just mentioned. Denver's in that same role because you got Jokic, you got Jamal Murray, and you got what's my man, the power for
the dude with the Gordon.
Yeah, so they was on the ownership. This was the year, like, see how far they was supposed to run. If they didn't make a run, that team about to get broken up. So, like I said, teams is not going to sit here and have like 2-3 stars paying out that money and y'all not winning chips because, again, they have to pay that luxury tax. And if they're not, it's different when you winning chips because why? You make it up through merchandise.
Denver just win a chip not too long ago.
About 2 or 3 years ago. But the thing about it is you're supposed to be winning year after year after year. And then on top of that, where they at Denver. Then another thing is you got to look at the makeup of the ownership. You feel what I'm saying? So some ownerships, they care about their pockets versus paying it out. Like I said, San Francisco was different because you got to understand, look where logistic where it's at. It's a high-end city. So if you have a winning team and they're winning back to back to back, or they won like 4 in 5 years, you have to give that area with that because based off of everything else around it. Now Denver is different because they don't. California tax wise and Denver, Colorado, two different on the spectrum. You feel what I'm saying? So we're talking about is money involved in when it comes to these teams. So Mike Malone, he wanted a veteran team because they was talking about trading their forward Chris.
What if Mike Malone just knew them young niggas couldn't play?
Ownership was basically telling them like, hey, you gotta make it work because we're not gonna keep getting veteran players because you gotta pay them. So they didn't want to they wanted to keep building through the draft. What Phoenix used to do until they gave up 8 first round draft. Excuse me. Thank you. Before they gave up all they draft capital between Westbrook and what's my man they didn't want to trade?
Murray?
No, I'm talking about on the Suns.
Oh, Beal.
They can't trade him.
So between the Beal trade and Durant trade, they gave up all their draft capital.
Yeah.
So like I said, all 3 of those teams I just mentioned, they all in the same fold. Just Phoenix is in a worse situation than
I was going to say, Phoenix is in a horrible situation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is all 3 teams facing that luxury tax. They had 3 different tiers for the luxury tax. So if you're not winning, then in their eyes, it doesn't make sense to have all these high pay. We'd rather stay in the draft, be younger, so the players would be cheaper.
Well, see, with Denver, I don't really understand why they do that. With Phoenix, yeah, I understand because you're not going to the playoffs.
Correct.
You
contended.
When the season started, people thought Phoenix was going to be top 4 seed.
Hell no.
When the season started,
yeah, when they started.
When the season started, people thought that Phoenix would be a top 4 seed.
Contended.
Nobody had Phoenix not even making the playing game. Not even making the playing tournament. Nobody had that.
Look, and you know what's crazy about the Phoenix situation? They might end up firing Mike Budenholzer.
Which he might deserve that, but
why? He came in with a team, a whole situation that's fucked up. Of course, if somebody say, "Hey,
Is this
listen,"
his first year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, you took the job. You knew what we were going to ask
but
you. I'm sorry.
but it's one thing somebody say, all right, I got Russell, who I got on the team? I got Durant, and Booker. Yeah.
Look,
if somebody say I'll pay you X amount of money and I'm that top, I'll say I could deal with get you to the chip too.
Okay, so boom.
You better with that talent.
You didn't get us to the chip. Now, you took the deal. We're looking at it back on it. You said you get us there. Yeah, you did it.
But you talk about the makeup of the roster. Too. It's top heavy. So they got a top heavy roster because
sold me on you could get us
I
there.
got you, but I understand that, but even though he's seen the roster by names, he don't know them. You know Durant, you know Bill, you know goddamn Booker, so you know what they got body of work. So
and like you said,
you manage like I can manage it.
When you told me when I got the job,
I can manage it. I'm like, I should be able to do it.
We can run the West.
Right. Then when I get my ass sitting there and be like, oh shit, I got a bunch of bums outside of these 3. Everybody else is trash.
So now, okay, this is my question. Mm-hmm. How much hit does this take on KD?
Oh, it takes a lot because this is 2 teams that you being traded from, and
KD's legacy take
it's
you ain't even in the playoffs.
Well, hold on.
Even the greats
no.
in the playoffs.
I got you, but hold on before we talk about legacy because as far as his numbers, all that's solid. Now, if you want to talk about after that, all right, it's up for grabs. You feel what I'm saying? But what he's done up until this point,
you gonna get your points and stuff. Okay, cool. But
as far as
we brought you here, and see now,
do you look at him as somebody that you want to go a big dog? No, a big dog.
He's not.
Or is he somebody that you would build your team around?
No, he's not the big dog.
Would you even build your team around Durant?
No.
Would you give up some young thoroughbreds and some draft picks, first round draft picks for Durant right now?
Because a lot of Durant's legacy revolves around the Warriors.
Correct.
A lot of his legacy revolves around the Warriors.
Of course.
And
outside of OKC, because he did go to the finals when he went to OKC.
You go to Brooklyn.
Failure.
No big dog. Go to Phoenix.
Same
Super
shit.
failure.
Yeah.
You probably failed worse in Phoenix than you did at Brooklyn.
I think they both about neck and neck.
So now I'm looking at KD like,
No, you know what? Yeah, Phoenix is worse because in Brooklyn, if Kyrie didn't go hurt, they would have
your
won.
big three been around the whole time.
No, they would have won.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Your big three and Phoenix has been around the whole time for the most part.
Nah,
Beal
they've
and
been
Booker,
even him and Booker haven't been playing that much because of injuries. So the whole between the two, Booker and KD, and the big three, him and add Beal to that, they all haven't been playing consistently.
Give me a list of stars that have missed playoffs that were
His caliber.
His caliber. Give me a list of that caliber of star who hasn't brought your team into the playoffs.
As him top of his damn game. Kobe. Right before they got Pau Gasol.
So
he was flirting with leaving the Lakers to go to the Clippers.
okay, boom. But that's because the Lakers were trash, though. It was just Kobe on that team, right? So we kind of give Kobe it was just Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe ain't have nobody else to play with. KD had
Booker.
a couple of ballers on his team.
He had Booker and Bill.
And Booker, the love they give Booker every year.
Yeah.
Every year, Booker's get ready to be this sensational player. It's not saying he's not.
His numbers speak for itself.
Book can fill it
He's
up.
a two-way player.
But I just think KD legacy takes a huge hit.
It take a hit. I don't want to say a huge hit, but it takes a hit.
You didn't make the playoffs, bro.
I get you.
Like, you don't even have a dog in the fight. You've never been to Cancun this early in your career.
You're right. I believe we can find other. I believe you can find other NBA greats that at the same age they top of their game that didn't probably make the playoff. I just named Kobe for one, but
I can throw you Tracy.
Tracy McGrady.
I can throw Tracy.
Yeah, you can throw him in there. And I'm talking about they beasting out, balling stuff. Only difference is in this situation with KD is you got two other ballers right beside you. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all couldn't get it done. Look, Kobe, he did it with Gasol too, and the rest was role players. So you got three, and the rest was role players, and y'all can't get it done. Something wrong with that. Me personally, I've always say his lack of, I wouldn't say aggression, but his lack of firmness always hurt him because he's like, I just want to play ball. You the face of the team. Most of the teams you go to, you that dog because they looking for you to score and do your thing.
And as much as KD's not in that category with those other guys no more. Like the great, like for me, LeBron and they're you're not there no more.
Right, because like I said, it's just his two laid back personality on the court is like it's awkward because when his ass on Twitter, he be at his burner, he be clapping back at left and right. But I'm like, why you on Twitter doing that? You can't do that on the court. You can't tell your teammates like, look, we got a game to play. Let's get right. I'm trying to win the chip. I ain't sitting here playing. I love the game, but I want to win. Don't y'all, especially after you don't want it and you got the MVP and you been to the finals.
Several times.
Several times. Like once you taste it several times, like anything after that, like every time I step on this court, I expect us to win.
And that hasn't transitioned to you.
Exactly. So it just like his whole attitude to me, like I wouldn't even worth no draft picks. I wouldn't even, if I sign you like the second, maybe third scorer in the squad.
He's not a team leader.
Right.
He's not a team
leader. He just want to hoop.
Yeah, right. So now when it comes to options on your team, so let's say you got a big three, right? You got Kobe. I'm gonna put one together. You got Kobe, you got KD, and I'll go further than that. You put Magic on that team. Who is number one? Who's number two?
KD number three.
Say less.
No, Magic's the playmaker.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna let Magic throw that hook shot at the thing. I'm gonna go Kobe first because he's just the dog, and then Magic has that will to win.
And he's a playmaker.
That's the will to win. Mm-hmm. I don't know if
he gonna talk.
Spreads the floor.
Yeah, but he gonna. But the fact of the matter is, he gonna hold your teammates accountable.
Where's that will to win? Magic has
accountountability, calling your teams out. Hold your team.
KD just want to hoop.
Yeah, but you can't do that because you letting the what they say. What's the old saying? You letting the crazy runs in silent. like
they didn't
that.
give you all that money to come and hoop.
Right. They gave you
they
to
gave
win.
you ability
To win.
money.
To win. But he's gone next year though. So
Where's he going?
that's a good question.
Minnesota.
Nah. Who you somebody had to come off that squad.
I could see him in San Antonio.
Nah.
Why?
Because you're not breaking up your young core for him. You know.
I thought they were just going to add him. Isn't he
Well,
gonna
if
be a free agent, or they gotta trade him?
they got to trade. They got to do a sign and trade to get out. Get out.
That's different.
Yeah,
He's
so,
definitely up
Well,
out
then he
there.
needs to go home and play with the Wizards.
might as well. But do you
At
think
this point in your career.
But at this point, do you think he'll agree to going somewhere where it's a rebuild?
No, and more importantly, he don't want to play in D.C. where people worry the shit out of him.